Hi, uh, this is my first segment of Fire Sign Talks. My name is Ariel. Uh, Most people know me as Ari Santana. I want to start off by saying peace and love be with you. Um, the reason why, my inspiration for this actually came from FDR when he used to do this thing called Fireside Talks, and they were to boost morale during the Depression. And I guess right now we're in a spiritual depression. And of course, you know, for I don't want to be like for black people, there's a lot of questions of where we came from and where the chinks are. And for everybody else too, coming to be aware of what we all actually are. And I just decided to do this to help boost morale. So I know people are seeing things going nuts outside, and all over the world there's unrest. Um, so I'm here to talk and give my kind of opinion, just because sometimes I know people don't want to say things or don't think that other people think like them. And I want you to know that there are a lot of people like you noticing things, seeing things, and putting it all together into some logical order. I want to start by saying your experience is your own, completely your own. So even though we have things that we agree upon, things that we experience all together, your experience will be your own because you manifest your experience. And people make that sound so crazy, and like they make it seem like it's this big magical thing. It's not. Let's think scientifically. The experiment that they do, where they take grains of salt and they put it on a speaker, and when you play at certain vibration, like when you play different what is that? Different hertz, different vibration patterns, you know, the salt actually goes into a pattern. And that's because every atom on this planet responds to vibrations. And everything vibrates. Every single thing. That is why I say that your experience manifests, because the things that you think turn into vibrations, and atoms collide to form that pattern around your vibrations. But that's a topic for another day. Today's topic is actually religion. Big one. Before I continue, this is just my opinion. I've done some reading, so there's a few things that I've noticed and things that I will mention, but not in specific detail. But it's my general opinion. It's not fact. You don't have to believe me. You don't have to follow it. And I welcome any material that you have to. I welcome fact checking. I welcome disruptions. If you feel like I'm not all that educated in a topic, I do not. I'm not going to force you away from commenting or telling me anything. Just it's fine. So people kind of consider and they believe a number of things. There are many religions, but I've found a few correlations within some of the, I would say, predominant ones. I guess they're the first few written ones, or the first ones that were documented. there's the idea of the creationist story, which is found in Christianity in Egypt, as well as in the Quran, I believe. I still have more readings to do, but they all discuss an immaculate birth. And there's a few other stories, like Jesus is accounted, I believe I read a passage in the Quran as well as in Christianity. And in Egypt, he was known as Horus. My biggest thing about religion is that we all know that people pick and choose. We all know that there's rules for each one and how you follow and all of that. That's beyond the fact. One, the biggest driving force, the best thing that you could do for your creator is to love. If you do anything besides that, you're not following the right path. It's not your right. It's not your job to judge. Even when prophets and anyone came speaking for the creator, whoever he was or she was or it was, they did not come judging. Judgment is, of course, unnatural. You have to judge the situation. You have to consider anything about the person that you're speaking to. But for you to come outright and be upset with somebody and, disregard their way of living because you don't agree because of something you read in the Bible or in the Quran, whatever it is, whatever reading that you do, it's wrong. You can't tell somebody that they're living wrong because you have never spoken to the Creator. And what I've read in Kabbalah, they believe that the greatest thing that you could do for the Creator is to try and reach Him. And if you're so focused on what other people are doing, you can't possibly maintain that connection. The other thing I never understood, people who kill in the name of the Creator, whoever your Creator is. Let's start with the fact that, one, we're probably all trying to reach the same Creator. And because we are in different places, we'd have different names. We'd have different stories. We'd have different rules, translations, because essentially a Bible, by definition, is a set of laws. So every place would have different laws. If they have correlations of the same person in different religions, they're probably talking about the same person, but they may have different names because they speak different languages. It's just like how I say food and you say food. Food in Spanish is comida. Food in French is, I know how to say it. Yeah, no, not manger. That's how to eat. Yeah, sorry. So you've considered that we speak different languages, that we're in different places. If I'm living here and I see a person do works here, and then he goes down to Georgia, Georgia's not going to have the same story that I have. And over millions, sorry, not millions. Wow, that's ridiculous. Thousands of years. Over thousands of years, there were many different, translations, interpretations, because they got either lost or destroyed. The civilizations were no longer there. It is not possible to have the same story. The other thing that I believe is that the Bible, the Quran, many of the books were not meant to be taken literally. Nobody wants to hear that. Let's start with one thing that I've noticed. There are many things that are mentioned that are never explained. There are things, and the other thing that happens, that I've seen in the Bible, is that stories repeat. And the constant story, well, the idea in the first 5 original books, the Pentateuch, which was what it was called, the first 5 books written by Moses, have the idea of creation, a fall, and destruction. That's Adam and Eve, that's Noah, even in the book of Job. So it's partially to realize that things are in a constant cycle. Things are always going to repeat. That is some kind of instruction on how to regain the rebirth. From what or how, I'm not sure yet. But they are not meant to be taken literally. Also, what I've learned of the tree of life, and the tree of knowledge of good and evil, they weren't trees. So to take that literally wouldn't correlate even at the time. There's also the consideration that a lot of these people in the Bible, in Greek mythology, and a lot of the stories are constellations. And there's things to consider. That's a thing to consider because astrology is a known, very old study, and it should be deeper explored because a lot of the answers that we're looking for are in the stars. That's how they could create a calendar that lasted for years and all of these different things. There's a lot of things that we've lost, but back to religion. The greatest thing that you could do for religion is to love. If you think that there's any other solution for your soul, I want you to consider when you feel the most euphoric. When you love something, when you love somebody, when you love a state of being, or state where you are, or any negative feeling most likely derived from fear. These are the things that I want you to consider. So all in all, religion isn't bad. Being spiritual does not mean that we don't believe in God. And if anything, I feel closer to Him than I ever have. And I'm kind of all over the place, but that's kind of the gist. Religion is not a book where you take rules and you apply them to other people. You apply them to yourself, and you live in the way that you understand to be right. Because, like I said, everybody's experience is different. Everybody's experience is unique, and no one could possibly have the same experience, exact same experience as you. So understand that. Focus on yourself and live in your soul and in love. Peace and love.